Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the best skills to unlock in another Crab's Treasure. So, in a playthrough you might not be able to unlock all of these, but I'm going to show you the best ones that you want to focus your attention on to beat the game. Now, I beat this game in a few days after its release, and the first ones you want to get are the Parry skill. You can usually afford all three of these by the time you're able to get this. The Skewer, so you get a rapid lunging attack. This is good for closing distances, but I'd rather use the charge attack, so don't have the sprint button held down. Parry being the best thing about in this game, the best skill, because the parry can block the enemies and protect your shell at the same time. So anytime you parry, you just release the shell whenever you're about to get a hit, and you won't take any shell damage or damage at all. And it builds up posture damage. And streamline, so you can press shift to, this is just the dodge button, so you also use controller. Press B to jump through the air, so these are the first three you're going to get. Now, I would recommend actually going for the plunge attack. So this is a jump heavy attack. You jump up in the air and press it and you come down hard. This deals a lot of posture damage and it's an easy way to get a charge attack off. So I jump and hold this button often. And then the next one you probably should get is the repost. So after getting a parry off, you can press and hold this and it restores a single umami charge. So getting in a habit of doing a riposte is going to keep your umami charges high so you can continue to use the spells that are associated with it. So I'd start with these two at the right off the bat. Now, I think the next ones you should focus on is the scrap hammer, so you can do a charge attack on any shell that you see in the wild. So if you're in a boss arena, there's going to be a bunch of them. And then this attaches to your fork, and you can do heavier attacks that deal more damage and deal more posture damage, allowing you to take out bosses a lot quicker. This is fantastic, so you definitely want to go for that next. And then this one is steep, but it is worthwhile. Another option you can get is when your shell takes a hit while blocking, your next attack deals increased damage. This one is pretty good, so I'd recommend going for it if you don't want to save up the 65. But if you got 65, I would recommend going with the dispatch. So whenever you break posture, it'll allow you to do an extra powerful attack against them. This is one of the ones that you want to get as early as possible because it can deal a crazy amount of damage. So my usual habit is do a jump heavy attack to break posture and then use dispatch to deal extra damage, and then by that time you'll probably be able to do another jump heavy or two. For some bosses you can get 3 jumped heavy attacks off and the dispatch, so it's definitely one that you want to get as early as possible. I think it does the most damage out of all the skills here. So after that, there's a few different ways we can go. I really like the wave breaker here. I think this one's really good. So you can use when you throw your spear, if you press the attack button, instead of doing the little grappling mini game that you do with those hooks, you actually just jump at them and hit them really hard. This is great for a lot of bosses, especially if you get their posture near broke. You can actually just use the wave breaker to break the posture that way, and it's a lot better that way because it's just easier and you don't get hit as often. Now, the Circle of Life is another one. Defeating an enemy with a umami-based attack will restore a umami charge and temporarily boost your MSG. So this can be good if you want to focus more on a casting and using the umami charges, but you still have to hit them either way to get umami charges back. And the ebb and flow is okay as well, but I think the next one you want to focus on is obviously the spear fishing. This is one that you want to get early too. Like instead of the aggravation, you can go with this as well to throw the barbed hooks at people, or you can save them up for later in the game. It's great. It's going to be good for breaking posture. It does get a little bit tricky. There's a little mini game that you have to do to pull them in, and sometimes you don't get any hits off if you pull them in. But once you get all the way up to the wave breaker, you can just go and attack them instead of doing the little mini game. So that is really good too. Now the Elusive Prey is pretty decent. Become invisible for several seconds after your shell is broken. So if your shell does get broke, you're going to have a lot of survivability. I think that one's really great. The housewarming can be decent, so you get 1 free umami charge per shell. So if you swap out shells, like a pop can for instance, will get a free fizzle. It only works on 1 charge though, so if you have something that takes 3 umami charges, you won't be able to get it. But I do think that the next one is you want to get a self-repair, so dealing damage to an enemy will restore your shell health. This turns it somewhat into Bloodborne. When you get hit, you can attack to get your health back, which is really fun. And the Kintsugi is pretty okay. Like once per rest, your shell regenerates immediately upon breaking. In a boss fight, I find it's useful, yes, but typically the other ones give me a bit more bang for the buck. Wave breaker can be good too, or natural defense can be good too, so you can pair. If you're really good at parrying, I would go for this. I use this one on my playthrough because if you have a shell break, you don't have to worry about the Elusive Prey because you can still parry pretty decently, so that one is a really good one to have. And I would say that like the Skedaddle here, you do a backwards jump. Now, if you use heavy shells often, this is fantastic because if you don't hold down a directional input, you're just going to be able to jump backwards, and it says unburdened by your shell's weight. That's the key point, is if you're using heavy shells, Skedaddle's fantastic. Now, it's really up to you where you go. So this can give you an attack after Skedaddle, which is pretty nice. Gives you almost like a Bloodhound Step from Elden Ring vibe. I think it's pretty good here. I guess I didn't use it on my last build. But Natural Defense is another one that's really powerful to go for. And we can go with the Kitsune here to get your shell back, but I think it's good to go with the Houseworm for the free Umami charge. And then the Circle of Life, if you're able to get towards, is pretty decent. Defeating an enemy will recharge your Umami charge. That's pretty okay. Like, depending on like how you go casting wise, this can be good. I would take the Way of the Hermit over the Way of the True Crab, but I can also go over some of these. It's going to show me all the things because I just respect for this build. But the typical way you want to be going about a fight is get the Scrap Hammer if you can. Go for jump heavy attacks, so you're going to want to keep at a distance. You can use the quick attack to shorten distance, so you can go here with this one. But I honestly think it's best to go with this attack. Get it off as many times as you can, and then parry when you're in close range. I'm using the Knight's Helmet here. I find that this one's pretty good overall for like defensive purposes, but you can parry and get it off. So yeah, you want to be doing a lot of charged heavy attacks. It's good to get a few hits in if you can, because that will charge your Umami charges a little bit quicker. But I think that honestly breaking posture is the way to go in this game. Like, that was how I was able to beat the game so quickly, is focusing on like posture. So get the parries off and then retaliate with a jump heavy. And even better if you're able to do something like this and take off your shell and then apply the charged attack to it. It's not always the easiest to get there, but if you can do with the charged attacks with the hammer, these do a crazy amount of posture damage. The only downside is you don't get the shell, but if you're you can also pick up another shell, which is fine. And yeah, the typical way about going about it would be to parry and then charge heavy if you can, and then Skedaddle. If you have a heavy shield, just press Skedaddle. Like, you see that. That's a pretty good dodge. Now, I can't show you the heavy dodge because you just kind of like fall on the floor. But with Skedaddle, you got that really good distance, so you can go boom, boom, and then come back with another attack of your own like that. So it's very effective for just being able to deal damage and stay alive at the same time. And that'll help you beat the game. Now, if you're having a struggle with any of the bosses in another Crab's Treasure and you want to beat them the legit way without giving Krill a gun, I have video guides for every single boss in this game, so you can go check out those videos on my channel. If you found this video useful, please hit that subscribe button below. Really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.